What is up, YouTube? So today I was looking up YouTube charts. That's youtube.com/charts. Basically it shows the most viewed videos of the day. And one interesting one came up. It had quite a lot of views, hundreds of thousands. And it was very strange because the poster was someone called Province of BC. It seemed to be some sort of scientific confirmation of death. And I'm like, what's going on? How did this video get so many views? So I click it, and apparently it is the confirmation of death of someone called Cory Monteith. And I don't know who this guy is, so I do a quick Google search. And he turns out to be one of the main cast members in a series called Glee. As well as, a couple other minor roles in other things like Stargate Atlantis and Smallville. However, he is a main cast member in this series called Glee, and if you're not from the United States, Glee is a US-based TV show which is pretty much like a musical comedy, and it is very, very successful. There's hundreds of thousands of people who are diehard fans for this, and this show has won Emmys. It's huge. I mean, I think it's kind of like falling off now. It's reached its peak and it's kind of like dying out now. But back in the day, like 1 to 2 years ago, it was huge. I mean, huge. And I know a lot of people back in the day who liked Glee a lot. Mainly girls and a couple guys who I don't know if they actually liked the series or they're just pretending to in order to get with girls. I don't know. But the point is, this guy, okay, so in the video, it is simply a cause of death confirmation, and it's from a coroner service, and I'm thinking at first, what's going on? But after watching the video, this has actually taught me quite a lot. Basically, this guy is dead now. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth. Cause of death, it's been confirmed to be mostly heroin, some alcohol. And you can watch that video on YouTube if you don't believe me. Now, honestly, in death, I believe this guy has taught me quite a lot. There's this YouTuber called Swoozy, and a couple years ago, he made a YouTube video, and in it, he talks about visiting this guy's house. Not Cory Monteith, but a unnamed Glee prominent cast member. He was invited with a few of his friends just to visit and check out the house. And he mentions how huge the house is when he first arrives, and how many cars he sees in the driveway when he walks in. And then he mentions how many girls are there in their best nightclub attire, just to meet this guy, this nameless Glee member. And it just so happened that the guy himself was too busy with 2 girls already. And so, the point of that story is to pretty much show how crazy this lifestyle is. And that was a few years ago. I mean, imagine it now. Glee's it's still going on as a series as far as I can tell. And I mean, his house is probably twice as big, and this nameless Glee member has probably twice as many cars as well. A lot of guys out there and girls might be idolizing about a lot of things, like becoming famous, getting rich, getting all these clothes, all this money, being famous so you get recognized and you get that validation. Well, honestly, this guy has taught me quite a lot. Just from watching this video, the title of this video is Cause of Death Confirmed for Cory Monteith. This video has reminded me a lot of things that I have slightly lost sight of. And that has to do with not really caring about ego and money and all that stuff. Sure, it's very good to improve on yourself and seek goals and look towards those goals, but you shouldn't ever get depressed or pissed off that you're not some famous actor or model or or singer and you don't have this glamorous lifestyle, like, don't feel sorry for yourself ever for any of that. No matter how you twist it, I'm sorry, but no matter how you twist it, this guy probably chose to take these drugs on his own, and he in effect caused his own death. Now, I don't know the details, I don't know any of that, so for me to make any further claims on that is unfair, so I'm not going to. But I mean, no matter how you twist it, there is that to consider. And on top of that, I do think there are factors that should be mentioned. Sometimes your lifestyle just consumes you, and it's never 100% your fault, because there's just some things you can't control, especially with a hectic lifestyle like that. I mean, with all these drugs and all this stuff around you, it's very, very hard to, you know, resist sometimes. I mean, a lot of kids will say, "Oh, I would never succumb to that," but then they're in an area like in the countryside where there's no chance of even being like tempted by any of this, and they've never experienced that. And if they were to swap places, they would not have an easy time at all resisting all these temptations near you. And it's a lot tougher than it seems. There's a lot of temptations. Excuse me, my English is just horrid. I need to work on that. But there's a lot of temptations, and you can say all you want, but unless you've been in their shoes, you can't say nothing. Especially if you're like a country bumpkin. Nothing wrong with country people, but if you're like a guy who lives in the country and all day you just like graze in like the farm and you work on your farm stuff with the cows and stuff, you can't really, you know, point fingers and say, "Oh, this guy is so bad. How could he be taking drugs? Why didn't he have the moral sense to resist? Look at me, I'm a farmer, I can resist." Well, first off, you don't have any of that experience, and I'm sure you would not have that sort of ease if you were actually placed in that scenario. Like, you have no experience whatsoever in terms of amount of drugs near you, or the amount of people like you know, peer pressuring you to take those drugs, or all these other factors that might be around you. I don't know, this video is gone to crap. I'm starting to ramble. But yeah, the point is, yeah, this has taught me a lot. I personally have been reminded that, yeah, you should never feel depressed for not being famous, for not being a superstar. I mean, fame, it's so overrated. Like, you will get fans, and a lot of people would think, okay, if I get famous, I will have all these friends that I didn't have when I wasn't famous. And it's like, that's not true. You will have a lot of people who are fans, and then you have a lot of people who will be nice to you and become your friend, but only because of who you are in terms of your fame. They're not your real friends, they're just there because you're famous. And that's just worse. It's like, you still have no true friends, and on top of that, you have like all these fake people now who are constantly pestering you, and then you have like all these fans who are very nice, but then, you know, once you hit a threshold and you're too famous, then you're constantly being pestered and you can't really go anywhere public, and you're pretty much stuck, confined a lot. So in a lot of ways, I am very thankful for just how I am right now. You know, some people in third world countries live on $5 per month. Okay? If you have any higher sort of living style, any sort of higher living conditions than that, you probably shouldn't be complaining about anything. Unless, of course, it's like rape or something. I don't know. I actually have 362 subscribers right now, and it's very strange. I get like 10 views per video now, and the subscriber count just keeps going up and down, up and down. And the reason is because I get new subscribers who subscribe every like week or so, and I'm like so happy. And then you get those haters who are unsubscribing because of they realize that my videos are crap when I upload them. Either that or who knows. But do I care? No, because you should never seek validation in any way from other people. You shouldn't seek it in terms of the amount of subscribers you have, and you shouldn't seek it by becoming famous and only measuring yourself based on how famous you are or how many sports cars you own, because that is very materialistic, and it's just going to set you up for a lot of pain and hurt and suffering, and it's not going to be pretty. I'm perfectly happy where I am now, just not famous at all. Like literally, like I like the fact that I can just walk around and not be noticed. Because in terms of fame, the type of fans you expect is not what actually happens. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's just another nuisance. If you're looking to become famous or successful or get a lot of money or something like that in order to either get girls or boost your ego and appear awesomer than all your friends, or what else? Trying to make friends because now no one will acknowledge you. You're going at it the wrong way. You shouldn't do that, because you are just going to attract a lot of fakers. You're not going to attract real friends that way. And fans and friends are completely different categories. Fans are strangers who have seen your work and appreciate you as an artist. Friends are someone who know you as a person and know your true personality and how dorky you are inside, and they truly like you for who you are. I honestly don't know what happened with Cory Monteith. Maybe there's some peer pressure, maybe it was just all this hectic Hollywood life, and maybe his ego just got out of control. Sometimes your life just gets too good, and then you take in too much stuff, too much material stuff that you don't need, and then you're doing drugs that give you like temporary happiness and then just wreck you later, and then you have all this money for freaking cars, but you barely can drive it anywhere because of your fans. And what's the point? I never actually understood the point of sports cars and why everyone loved them so much. I mean, a lot of people who spend all that money on sports cars never actually like use it. Like, sure, they'll go on the road and like drive it at like 40 miles per hour and show off to their friends if their friends come visit them at home. But other than that, it's like, why spend all this money on a super fast car? And sure, it looks cool and stuff, but it's just a form of transportation. Your sports car does the same thing as my black 1990 Nissan Maxima. And you might be like, no, that's not true. My sports car is so much faster, so much cleaner, so much more efficient. Well, honestly, that's only going to shave off like, what, 2 minutes of time? Unless you're some sort of Tokyo Drift street racer, you probably don't have too much use for that car. And spending all that money just to show off to others and boost your ego, I mean, I never really understood it. I was just considering a scenario in my mind a little while ago. Basically, I was thinking to myself that if I was rich, if I ever became rich, I would live in a mediocre house, like a decent house, but nothing like crazy, like a very decent middle to lower tier class house. And there would be no cars there, okay? There'd be no flashy cars in the driveway. There'd be nothing flashy like a pull-out back or anything like that. I just have a very, very clean lifestyle. No drugs, no excessive spending on my black Visa card, no nothing. And if I were to buy a sports car, because I do like how they look, don't get me wrong. I have been hating on sports cars, but I do like how they look. I would not park that sports car in my driveway. I would find some like parking garage far away to park it, and then I just leave it there. And then if I were to use a car, it would be my Nissan Maxima that I have right now. I would get it renovated to the point where it doesn't keep breaking down. And then I just park that old piece of crap out front. Why? Because people will judge you based on your money. And especially in some place like California, there will be a lot of shallow people. Because if you live the lifestyle that I just envisioned, then you will refrain from all this like heinous, selfish, sort of worldly sort of spending, and you won't be tempted by all this crazy stuff. And more importantly, when people come to visit you, they will judge you like a poor person. Why? Because they don't know you're rich. And because of that, they will treat you like a poor person. And you can now figure out who actually likes you for you as a person, and who are the bitchy type of people who only like people who are rich. Because if you ever were to invite people over and you had like an extravagant mansion and 10 sports cars out front, then they will judge you and treat you immediately like you're rich. And what you're gonna get is everyone, 100% of people, well not 100, 99% of people just constantly being nice to you, constantly giving you that yes men mentality. And it's just a lot harder to tell what the heck is going on. I don't know, I guess the point is I'm decently content with where I am now. There's still a lot of room for improvement, but that's no reason to complain. I'm very, very happy that I'm not in a sort of situation where maybe my ego is overly boosted by too much money or too much fame or too much nightclubbing or good-looking girls, or too many shallow yes men near me, or too many fake friends, or too much peer pressure and avenues to drugs. And I guess there was a time when I used to want to be in that lifestyle because I thought it was nothing but better. You just get more benefits and there's no negative effects. But I guess I've been reminded once again, hold up, that's not the case. Anyhow, that's all I have to say. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, subscribe if you want to. And always remember, you are luckier and better off and more awesome than you think. Just don't keep comparing yourself to those above you. Sometimes you gotta stop and smell the roses and then look at the people behind you and below you. But for me, I guess the problem is just staying in the roses for too long. I've been pretty lethargic and lazy and unproductive these past few days. That's what summer does.